Professional Fighters League looks to hand out $1 million in a featherweight tournament, well, in a bunch of tournaments, and they're doing some big things. And who better to win $1 million and spend it than a man that is nicknamed the Party? Lance Palmer joins me here. Lance, are we on the streets of Sacramento today?
Oh yeah, we're just getting a few things done. I got my eye appointment right after this for the fight, so just hanging out outside. The weather's beautiful in California, so it's always good to be out here.
That's nice. There have been some changes, some staples of Team Alpha Male that have left, but still largely the same core guys, and a really good place to train, especially for guys your size. Tell me what it's like though at Team Alpha Male these days.
Things definitely changed a little bit, but our main core group is still here. We still have Faber in the gym as often as possible. We still have Justin Buckles, Danny Castillo, Chris Holdsworth, all those guys helping out, coaching, doing different things for the team. So it's the same as it always has been. If there's no chaos, then it doesn't seem normal. So I guess things are going pretty good.
There you go. I talked to some guys that train out there, and I can't get anybody to say anything negatively about Chris Holdsworth as a coach. And I think that's a good thing. I think that he is really sort of sliding into that role in his career as something that maybe he even becomes better at than being a fighter. Would you say the same about Chris?
Yeah, I mean, that's a bold statement to make because he was such a great fighter in the short time he was fighting. Well, not short time, but the short time most people knew of him fighting. Right. So I think the biggest thing with Chris is he breaks everything down. His own MMA game was second to none. I mean, he could be a champ in the bantamweight division, no doubt. And when it comes down to coaching, he's the same exact way. He's able to break things down. He's able to pick apart video and watch video and do things a lot of people haven't been able to do that I've seen since I started fighting.
Lance, we talk about some changes at Team Alpha Male. World Series of Fighting has gone through some changes. They're now the Professional Fighters League. And what went through your mind when you found out you were going to be in a tournament where the grand prize was $1 million? Like $1 million is not handed out to a lot of people. I mean, over the 20-some year history that the UFC has been on the radar, they've only written a check out for, a fight for $1 million a handful of times. So for you to have this potential, this is huge, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think the first thing that went through my mind was like, it's too good to be true. We'll see what happens, this and that. But I think as it gets closer, I think it's something that we can believe in. From what I hear, the new investors are great people. There's a lot of good things going into this next year to start this tournament season. And obviously everyone's still waiting, for the season contracts and for the things like that. So nothing's set in stone yet, but there's a lot of positive things we can think about for this, which is great. But right now I'm just focused on this fight and doing my best in the fight right now to win this fight and be able to end the year on a great note, and then we'll go from there once 2018 starts.
You mentioned this fight. This fight is with Super Steven Seiler. A lot of people know Steve from The Ultimate Fighter, and he's been around. He's bounced around a lot. Very experienced guy. I think a dangerous guy. A lot of people look at Steven, and you know what his style is, but it's very hard to adequately prepare for what he actually brings to the cage. Do you feel that you have a good gauge of what Seiler's going to bring to the cage on November 2nd?
I think so. I mean, we've watched tape on him. Elkins fought him, which is one of my teammates. Chad fought him, who's one of my teammates. So we have a good gauge of what he does, and his style definitely is different, and that's why it's dangerous because the timing is like an awkward timing. The speed is a different speed where he throws from his hip when he punches and different things like that where it would throw a lot of guys off, and that's why it's a very unique fight for anybody. But I'm just excited to go in there and put my best effort in and show what I've been working on the last few months.
When you look at this fight, certain fights, oh man, this is going to be a war, this is going to be a grind. Other fights, stylistically, you think, hey, maybe I can get him out of there within a round. What do you expect in this fight? Is this a fight that is going to take you a little while before you penetrate his defenses and get him out of there, or is this something that you think you can, kind of steamroll him and get through?
I mean, obviously, it's a fight that I believe I can win. I mean, I don't go into any fights thinking that I don't have a chance at winning. So going into this fight, I mean, I'm obviously going to look for a finish, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to force anything out there. I'm gonna let the fight evolve as it happens, and when we get in the cage, that's when you really find out the timing, the distance, the speed, the range within that first minute of the fight. So that's kind of when I make the decision of what I'm going to do in the fight. But all the strategy and all the hard training is done. We have 7 days until the actual fight, 6 days until the weigh-in. So I'm excited to go out there and put on a show for everybody.
I started the interview with the nickname. Your nickname, The Party. You get $1 million. What are you doing, Lance? You got to throw some sort of crazy ass shindig, right?
No, it'd probably be the opposite of that.
Really?
I'd probably, well, I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at, after taxes, we're looking at about 500,000. So, I mean, that's enough money for a nice house and, to get things started. So something like that for me and my fiance, my future wife. So we'll look into something that way, but it's time to start investing into myself if I'm going to actually make a nice chunk of change for once.
There you go. I mean, someone that hangs out with Uriah Faber on a regular basis, buying a house, I guess, is not all that surprising, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been renting since college, so it's been about 11 years of renting and wasting my money, and I think it's time for us to put some money down and settle down a little bit. We got a dog, and that's about as close to a kid as I want right now. So once we need to get a yard for that guy so he can run rampant in the yard chasing squirrels.
Awesome. Well, the PFL is November 2nd. You take on Super Steven Seiler. Lance, I appreciate the time. Best of luck in this tournament, and good luck on winning, I guess, $500 million or $500,000 rather than the $1 million after taxes. You got to be responsible.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. Not charging? You better be charging now. Motherfucker. What the fuck is going on?